the finding gold with placer method.
Okay. All right, let's start. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me walk up here. How about here?
Yeah.
Okay, when you're looking for gold, you come down on the creek, you find your area that you're going to use. First off is to check for your accessible means of using the equipment you have. Basic equipment is your gold pan naturally. Everything ends up down there. And a quicker method is to use a sluice. You have the sluice, you have the bucket, you have your crowbar, and you also have your gold pan and your sniping tools, which are little rods that you use to get down into the cracks and little niches and everything where the gold sits. Okay, so you've got your creek, you come down on your creek, and you look at your area and you decide where you're going to use your sluice. What you do is, what you want is an area where it's no more than about 1.5 inches of water on your sluice here. And so then you set it in the water and make sure it's level to give you the best use of the equipment. Okay? So go down here. Now I chose this area down here for the main reason is it's fairly level to get to, but it's also got a fairly easy level spot to set the sluice. And what you want is the optimum flow of water across your material so that the gold will settle into it, being 14 times heavier, and the rest of it will just float on off on the top with the water force. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and set my sluice first. Now, as you can see, the bar across the top of the water has put a kind of eddy on it. So what I'm going to have to do is take some rock, stuff like this guy, check it out, bring it up where you have an even flow of water. Depending on how swift the current is, put a rock on top, hold her down. Okay, you got your sluice set, now all you need to do is put your material through it. You take a look around, as you can see in the area here, there's been a lot of digging. That's a good sign. When there's a lot of digging, there's some stuff being found. People are not going to dig long if they don't find some. So what you do is take your shovel, crowbar in this instance, a little trowel, your snapping bar, okay, your bucket and your crowbar. These are the main tools for this. Gold pan we can leave right there since we're going to fill up the bucket first. Okay. Now, looking over the area and looking at the creek, the water came across here and eddied out. The gold comes from over there. And seeing as how there's a mining company just on the other side, must be a pretty good area. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start down here, right about off of this bunch of tree roots here. Take those guys and put them in the bucket. So you can see, somebody dug in through here. Somebody dug here. Nobody messed with this very much. They might have found a lot here and a little here and didn't check here. So this could be a good area to look. The material is nice and sandy, loamy with gravel in it. Now your black sand and everything is going to be in the dirt, so it's not really visible when it's dry. It's only when the dirt is broke down. Now right here, if you can see the black on the dirt, that's a layer of black sand. Okay, that's a very good sign that there could be some gold right in that little bit of stuff right there. And as you can see, I'm putting dirt, roots, rock, and everything in the bucket. When you get it into the sluice, anything that's held in the dirt will wash down. Now if you notice, right along here is a tree root. This is the root that this is coming across here, and it came across the water. Okay? As you can see, there's a big pile up of black sand right at that tree root. That gold, when it was washing down, it came across here and it got lodged up right across that tree root right there. And that tree root is what's holding the gold and keeping it right there waiting for you. Good stuff, Maynard. The one thing you always got to remember is gold is heavy. So it's going to go down, down, down. Come to Mama. Laying across the side like that puts a trap on it. If it's washing down from the streams, it's going to trap right in here. Good stuff. Alright, bucket's full. So we can leave everything now, take the bucket over, and put it through the sluice, see what comes out. You go to your stream. Okay. One thing you always want to remember is to keep your dogs out of the way. Thank you. You don't want to stand in front of the sluice because that blocks your water. You don't want to stand when you're putting your hands in it, working it. You want to be sure that you've got ample space to do the job. And you want to keep your hands above the bottom ripple and halfway below the one above it. Because if you put your hand up here, your gold, it creates an eddy and it's going to wash your gold right out. So these areas right here are your ripples, okay? And the gold washes off of the material here and it'll get hung up underneath right here. So we'll start feeding her in and see what we get. As you put your material in, any mud or anything like that, you want to make sure that you have plenty of agitation in order to break it up. Because the mud, if it's very hard, won't wash and your gold will go right on out of your sluice. And after you've done that, well then all that work is for nothing. And gold is work. So as you wash it down, as you notice here in the material here, you'll start to get a buildup of rocks and gravel and sand. So you want to make sure that you go, I said, get rid of rocks like that hang up above the riffle because they will create a wave which will take the gold on out as you go. Okay. So as we wash it down, all your root material and everything, you want to make sure that you break it up real good. Roots, real fine roots especially, because they will hold your gold and they will take it away from you. And you notice the big rocks in here, you take and wash them off real good. Because you didn't have a screen or anything on them when you pulled them out of the ground. Okay? You also want to make sure that one of them is not a nugget. Because, man, nothing's more disheartening than to do all this work and watch a nugget wash on down and out. Because once it's in the water, it's gone. This is some good stuff. Now if you look here, this is a piece of quartz. Okay, when the gold was formed, or when it hardened out of the magma, out of the lava, it was hardened into quartz. Quartz is a fire material, gold is a fire metal. So when you're going through it and you run across one of these guys, sometimes you can take and split them open, and there could be a little bit of vein of gold in there, because when he broke off from the mother lode, he came down here and he just settled right on into the ground. It's pretty heavy too. I have to save him. As you saw, I put some water in the bucket. That's because the material that was in the bottom was dry. And it might not have time to get soaked enough in the sluice before it washes out. So you take and soak it a little bit until it's good and moist. Then you put it through the sluice and the water pressure will take and clean it out to where you don't have to worry about it. What might have come up since. It might have washed down or anything like that. For a little bit. see, we're down to the very last of the pan bucket now. So, push the bucket out good. Clean the sluice one more time. Fill your rock. Now we'll see what we've got. If anything. You know what I forgot, don't you? My glasses. Okay, break your sluice down. Pull your carpet. And then you take and wash your carpet in your bucket. Any gold particles or flake or anything else that was in it will wash off and be in your bucket. Everybody that goes gold hunting, they all try the pan first. You have to learn how to use the pan. The sluice, you show them this how the sluice works, and everybody starts breathing easier and saying, oh my God, it's easier now. But even though you've worked all that whole bucket of material, what you still come down to is the gold pan. You still have to put your material in the pan in order to find the gold, because it's not going to jump up out of there into your hand. So what you do, you take, pour your material into your pan. You see the water's running over. Well, that's no biggie wow because the gold is in the bottom of the bucket. Right in that material right there, if there is any. If I've been good.
You have to get all the big sized rocks out. It's all nice and down to little tiny ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's by hand?
Yeah. You take and pull. Those big rocks, as you saw the material, okay, the material, the gold is 14 times heavier, so it sinks to the bottom of the bucket, okay? Now, you took and poured out of the bucket and into the pan, so the gold is going to be on top again. So what you have is the gold on the top, you have your big rocks in there, and those big rocks help the material to let the gold move around and get to the bottom of your pan. Because once you clean out all the sand, that's where the gold is going to be. So what you do is you stir it up good, and you see it went through the water, but as you can see, it's still got a lot of mud in it. That's because all of those particles and everything still had mud around them. So you have to stir it up good in order to really break it loose. That's where your big rocks come in handy. Okay? My hat's putting a shadow on things, isn't it?
It's okay.
Okay. Because I can take it off. Would that be better in bright sunlight or no? Oh, okay. So you shake your pan around.
You can always just turn around and put it in the sun for a second.
Yeah. I can stand this way. Wash your material down. Okay, you're back in the water again. This is not a job or a hobby or anything for anybody who doesn't like water. Because water is your easiest way to get it. Okay. The old timers used to take a blanket when they were dry hunting, and they'd take and put all the material in the blanket, and then they'd take all four corners, somebody get on each corner, and they'd toss the blanket up and down, and the dirt and sand would wash off in the air, and the gold would fall back down in the blanket. So, that was dry hunting. We have a little bit easier job of it being how it's wet hunting. Okay, stir your pan around. Pour off the muddy water. You've got to get it clear before you can see if there's any nuggets. If you notice, I'm pouring everything over the riffles of the pan, these ridges here, because if the gold is in there, it comes up against the riffles and it'll stay. You always check your rocks in case there's nothing in there. You want to get the bigger guys out so they don't give your gold a boost over the bottom of the pan. The smaller guys, after you get those out, almost had me fooled there. Woods Creek is known to have specimens of quartz with gold, and also your fool's gold with gold on it. So sometimes you throw a piece of fool's gold away and you just fool yourself because it might have some gold on it. Okay. A little more water. Since you've had your hands in the pan, you have to take and slosh it down again. Now we got these bigger guys on there, so we'll just kind of float them off. So if you notice the angle of the pan, you always keep it in a V. That'll help keep your gold in the pan. Here again, we have some more rocks. Oh, that's a different guy. Take and wash them off before you throw them out of the pan, just in case a flake or something gets hung up on them. Now if you see in the pan, you can see the black sand at the bottom down here. So remember when we were digging the dirt out and we saw the black on the dirt? This is what you saw. That's a very good sign. There's a lot of black sand. Of course, okay, if you notice here, I'm checking it before I get to the black sand. All your prospectors will say to check it after you get to your black sand. But in this area, because of all of the rock and everything, when you're sluicing your pan, you don't always get all of the rock out of the way. So this way it enables me to get down there, get those rocks out of the way. There's a piece of jasper. You not only find gold, there's a lot of stones in here in this area. There's a lot of jasper, there's a lot of marcasite, I think it is. I'm not real sure. But fine green, there's a lot of copper. Just do a piece of ochre, red ochre. The Indians used to use to paint their pottery and their faces and such as that. And they got it all out of the streams. They found areas, well, we get it out of the streams. They had areas where they could go and chip it off of the rock itself. So, okay, we're getting the rocks out of the way now so that we can go back down to our fine, fine black sand. Very carefully, we work the pan on the edge of the water. The pan work of it is time consuming. The rest of it is just throw it in the sluice and press on. And when you get down to this part of it, that's where your time is.
How does the stream direction play into it at this point?
Well, as you see, I'm holding it sideways in order to let it, usually you would stand facing it like so, right? But you don't want to put the water into it from behind. You want to come at it from an angle like this so that it'll kind of force the stuff over the riffles. Okay, still have some rock and everything, but we're down to black sand. And if there's anything of value in here, we shall see it shortly. And must be good because there's some buckshot. Buckshot being about the same weight as gold. Alright. As you see the sand coming off, you can see the gold flecks coming up. It's not a lot on this. But that's a promising sign because the heavier stuff will be below. This guy's trying to get away from it. Gold being 14 times heavier, it's going to stay there. But if it doesn't, when the air gets to it, it will float on top of the water. That's another way to know if it's really gold or if it's fool's gold. Because your fool's gold will float in the water. Not a whole lot of stuff here. But, like I say, if you were going to work somewhere, this would be the area that you would work because of the finds that are here. Can't hardly see that. Little smidges. Put that vial in my pocket. Now, a real prospector wouldn't even pick this up out of the pan. He'd throw it away. But there are ways of using this kind of stuff. You can take and melt this all together, and then it'll be good for jewelry gold. Because you can take then and put your, put it all together and put your alloy stuff with it, and make it a heavier gold. A lot of people just use a sniffer vial or tube or whatever. You don't have to. Gold can be picked up by the hand. if you've got a piece of fool's gold that looks like a piece of gold, and you pick it up, you always look at the tip of your finger, because that piece of fool's gold, when you pick it up, it's going to be black on the underside. So, that's what we got. Now, you notice all the black sand here. You noticed all the fines. Those little bitty pieces that I just found. You can take and throw the black sand back in, but that black sand, which is iron ore, okay, it does have gold inside it. And when you take and grind it up, then you can use mercury or some other method, or just panning, and use a sniffer tube and pick it up out of the pan after you grind it up, because it does have gold in it. Black sand is very, very heavy, and that's because it's holding gold. Trick of the trade. I'll put this back so it can catch some more for me. And I just dumped the pan, and look what I just found. Put it back here. See, I got rid of all the rocks, and if you look real close, you'll see gold right in here. Real fine baby stuff, baby flour. But that's how heavy it is. I dumped everything out of there, turned the pan upside down, and the gold is still in the pan. But here's by the water. Okay, there's... Oh. You want to lie and let me put my other vial in there?
Sure.
This is what has been pulled out this winter, and also since spring started. This is the finer stuff, not the little bitty stuff. There's one piece in there of fines that I melted together, and it weighed, when it was whole, almost a gram by itself. The big red piece is a piece of garnet. The gold and the garnet run together. If you find garnet, you find gold. If you find gold, you'll most often find garnet. So, very good, very good. You look good. Oh, yeah. But anyway, well, that was just one sluice full. Right here is a flake of gold sitting. Okay, that tree root, that little seed that sprouted during the winter, the roots start first, and he tracked a piece of gold right out of this little hole. Right here, in this bedrock. That's what you look for when you're sniping. You look for little trees and plants growing where they've been out into the air, and they've got a root soil on it. I can't believe that. That looks so good. I love to see that. That's a pretty nice little bitty piece.